Hey y'all, yes, I am sitting here with a scarf on my head and a blanket around me. I am just keeping it all the way raw with y'all right now. Let me tell y'all about my cycle day 10 appointment at the RE's office with IUI number 1. First, I want to say I've been up over 24 hours, primarily because I was scared last night. I could not get any rest at all. My mind was just running 100 miles an hour and worrying, wondering, of course, Googling, everything you Google, it's like you end up dying, but y'all know what I mean. But I just spent all night just up with my thoughts just consumed about this appointment, and the biggest part of it is getting this HSG dye test done. I don't know if you guys saw in my other videos where I mentioned I had the SIS, or like saline ultrasound, done before with my previous IVF. So this dye test, as I've talked to some people and read a little bit about, most women have said that it was not pleasant at all. And so I had to get up at the crack of dawn pretty much today. My appointment is like 7:30 in the morning, which is odd. Most offices really only don't open until 8 o'clock in the morning. But when we got there, there were other people there that had already been there, and one, I guess, couple that came in like right before we did. They came and got them, and I heard the girl mention like she had already done like 2 retrievals that morning. Like, that's insane. That means like you were probably at the office at like 4 or 5 in the morning prepping to do egg retrievals. Anyway, so I was a ball of nerves when I got there. They finally got us back and put us in the x-ray room first to do the HSG part. So we went in there to do that, and let me tell y'all, I don't consider myself a wimp at all when it comes to pain. I usually have what I consider pretty painful periods, and I go just a few periods a year where I don't have to use ibuprofen to keep me comfortable. All the apprehension was very much warranted. Once they got me into position and laid me down on the x-ray table, one of the, I guess the medical assistant or whoever had said that, they were going to give me an injection of lidocaine into my cervix to numb it, which I was familiar with. I've had that done before with earlier in the year. So, but that still didn't ease any of my concerns with getting lidocaine injected into my cervix, because that's not going to do anything for pain that I have in my uterus. That's just for your cervix. Nonetheless, once we got set up, really everything was fine. He got the speculum in fine, and he threaded the catheter okay. But honey, let me tell y'all, once he started injecting that dye into my uterus, it was intense. It was painful. Like, I was back to breathing, panting like I was in labor. I'm trying to like blow through it and, hold my arms like up, so my arms aren't in the way of the x-ray machine getting the pictures while he's doing the injection, because I want it to, like your natural human reaction is kind of to like console yourself. Like, you want to like touch your own body, and I want it to like be able to rub my stomach. So once he did get all the dye and stuff in, and I had an opportunity to do that, I was doing that and rubbing my stomach. And but then it was like the RE was like trying to ask me questions and stuff while I'm in the middle of all this pain, and I'm like, oh my God, it hurts, and I'm trying to breathe through it. And at the time my husband wasn't in the room. It was just the RE and, like I said, his medical assistant of sorts that was operating the actual x-ray part of it. And in those type of moments, you think that the pain will not end, even though I knew it was. And probably after a good 45 seconds or so, I started feeling it come down. And that's when I, heard him say, and I really had an opportunity just to glimpse over at the, actually at the monitor to be able to see the x-ray. And of course, it would be my luck. Guess what? My tubes are blocked. Both of them. So in the middle of that, it's like I was shocked, but then again, I wasn't, because of course, as my channel says, the reproductive misfit that I am, of course my tubes aren't patent. Why would they be? I mean, everything else doesn't want to work that well, it seems. But aside from that, so I got a glimpse of that, but then I was still in pain, and I was trying to just settle down and console myself from that, and just from just the pain, the cramping, and it was just so intense. It freaking hurt. I was trying to settle down and get myself together for that. I was finally able to be able to sit up, because in the middle of it too, once he got all the dye in, I was like, oh please don't tell me that you have to inject anything else. Once I heard him say that he couldn't see the dye going through my tubes, and I was like, please don't put anything else in there. He had already taken the speculum and everything out. It was just the catheter still in my uterine cavity. But so at that point, I guess he saw really how miserable I was, and I was really trying to compose myself. And so, like I said, I was, allowed to, once he took the catheter and everything out, I could sit up. And so pretty much from there, he just decided that he wants to take a crack at doing this all again tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, I'll be going back and getting tortured some more. This time he wants, I guess, to graciously give me a couple of medications to reduce the pain and, keep me calm, what he thinks is going to help to sedate me of sorts. But at this point, I'm a pessimist when it comes to some of those medicines, just with, previous encounters I've had with some of them. But even with that, I'm still terrified of going back tomorrow, of course. So he wrote me some scripts for all of that. And then, of course, from my previous ectopic, cervical ectopic that I had earlier in the year, my cervix is already it's holding on. It's still not in that great a shape. So, even though it's cycle day 10, really just yesterday I started to where I was just getting just brown discharge, where my period was really ending. But I know most of that prolonged bleeding and spotting is pretty much from my cervix still trying to heal itself, and it's just fragile. So once I got up, it was a mess trying to clean up myself, because I had solution run out of me, blood running down my leg. And I'm sorry if that's too graphic for some people, but if y'all have been through this, y'all know. But I had blood and stuff running down my leg, and I'm trying to, keep cleaning myself up. And so then I had to get all my clothes and stuff on, and then go into a separate room just to undress myself again, to get the regular ultrasound done, to be able to check my ovaries to see what kind of follicle growth I had going on. Well, I guess on the upside of things, since I've been taking the FEMARA, it's obviously doing something. I remember I had told y'all that I started out with 4 antral follicles on day 3 of of my cycle, and I had 2 on the left and 2 on the right, and surprisingly all 4 of them are responding to the medication. It's actually even, which is kind of weird. I don't know if that's creepy, or I don't know. I'm hoping it's still all a good thing in retrospect with everything else. But on my left, I had a 12 and a 13 millimeter, and it was the same way on my right, a 12 and a 13. Well, so everything else was kind of okay. Also, he said that my cervix, even on the ultrasound, he said that my cervix still did look, at first he said swollen, I guess kind of distended, but I think it was just still kind of skewed too from the injection of the dye. And like I said, I think my cervix is still, you know, not in its, I guess, you know, at its greatest of sorts. But but other than that, so there we are. Tomorrow I'm going back to be tortured some more, and I'm hoping that the medicine that I'm going to be taking 30 minutes before the procedure in the morning is going to give me a little bit of respite or something. Just do something. I mean, because like I said, I'm not a wimp. I don't feel by any means when it comes to pain, but that sharp cramping pain that I was feeling in my uterus, in that moment, I would have paid an anesthesiologist at the drop of a hat to give me some fentanyl propofol and Versed, just to knock me out, just like I was when I had my retrieval done. I would have paid good money to just knock me out and get it done, because that's how painful it was. For some ladies, they say that their HSG was just a little crampy and they didn't have much problem afterwards. Even since I've been home this morning, the last few hours, I even took a dose of ibuprofen right after, and not even 3 hours after I took the ibuprofen, I was still like uncomfortable. Like I had a lot of kind of crampy, but more so like of a burning sensation, like kind of like right in the center of my belly, really down low. So I'm trying to hold off and, you know, not necessarily have to take anything else. I just really need to relax and actually go to sleep, since I've been up over 24 hours. But I don't really know if that's going to happen, and I'll have to wait it out to just try to get some sleep tonight before I go in again in the morning. And also, y'all just cross your fingers for me, say a prayer, you know, do a 2-step, whatever you have to do for me, because I'm hoping that this cycle won't have to get canceled, because he'd be unsuccessful with unblocking one or both of my tubes, because especially because the follicle growth at this point at least looks so promising. So anyway, I'll quit ranting about that. And so once I find out more and see how tomorrow's appointment go, I will come back and let you guys know if that one went a lot better than today did. So make sure you just stay tuned to hear back from me and see how tomorrow works out.